Hi everyone, welcome back to Gaming the System. This is another bonus round. This week we are going to be doing three feminist gamers discussing hair, the best 9 hairstyles in gaming. As part of, we're doing a lot of iconic looks at iconic characters, and there's something about hair that you've got to get it right. You have to get it right if you want your character to fully pop on the screen and in players' hearts and minds. So, for number 1, I would like to go to you, Alex.
Okay, so my first pick would be Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, because it's just the nicest colour red hair, and it's got all these plaits in it and all these bits of jewellery and all sorts of things. It's very tribal, obviously, because the game is made up of tribes, and it's just so cool and so big, and it's great, and I love it. And that is Aloy's hair.
And the I remember the big deal of the physics of it. It had
yes, it moved around really well.
However many polygons that her hair is.
I would imagine there's many polygons, but yes, it's just really great hair.
Watching it like bounce around is very satisfying. Very, very satisfying. Jem, what would your next one be?
I'm just wondering who to start with first. Let's go in with Bayonetta. Because I've not played this game.
Such a fun choice.
And I realized why I hadn't played this game. I was talking to my husband about it earlier, and I said, it's this game. It just makes me think of porn every time I hear about it or see it. So that's why I haven't played it. He had no idea which game I was talking about, but then when I found it, I was like, oh yeah, that's why. But apparently her hair is actually her costume, and I think her outfit, and I think this is actually her hair from her head, not just coming out from her armpits or whatever it is. But I think it's crazy hair. I just as somebody who has quite long hair myself, I don't think it's a very practical thing to have your hair as your outfit. It's not very comfortable, and she's obviously quite acrobatic in her fighting, so I feel like it might get in the way. But I think it's kind of fun that they've decided to incorporate her hair into her outfit in this way. I think that's quite an intriguing thing. Looks like it's got a life of its own in this photo.
It is catastrophically sexist game development, because she's a sexy witch with sexy heels and sexy hair and sexy glasses, and her hair is her clothes. And whenever she does a big super move, all her clothes come off and she uses all of her hair. So it's if you look at it and think, what would happen if they just took it to the nth degree with this sexualization? That's what happens. So it's funny you haven't played the game. It was a very cool game.
Yeah, it does look cool, and some people were saying she's a feminist icon, but I need to do some more research into how.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've made a strong woman.
Yeah,
she's also ridiculously sexy as well. So she's fine. It's okay. There's nothing more irritating than someone saying we've created a strong female character, and it's clearly bollocks and a waste of time. And they haven't really done anything. Not like The Last of Us they've created. That's how you do it. Anyway, my choice first is going to be the guy I have been playing the most recently. It is from Hitman, Agent 47. The haircut
that's
of
cheating.
Not having hair. Because it's just so simple and iconic. I love less is more design of things, because sometimes less just isn't very much. But then you take someone like this, and you take the bald head, and he has the barcode on the back of his head. Just two. There are two elements in it. It takes no effort to create, just bald and barcode, and you create one of the most iconic looks in gaming. And I love that, the simplicity of it, and the amount of cojones to go, we're making this game and we're going to have just this bald character with a barcode on the back of his head. Because I imagine, because now you can't imagine it being any different, but I imagine when they're making these games, they think, no, it has to be all complicated and cool and complex. But it takes real substance to go, no, this is as cool as it can be.
And also, hair loss, especially in men, is quite a thing, and you know, it's something that a lot of men struggle with and worry about, and society has this whole thing about it. So I think it's really good to, you know, I mean, many men lose their hair, so I think it's quite an interesting thing to go with a strong male character who has no hair. You know, I think there's definitely a positive slant there on that.
It is that I hadn't thought of that, because obviously the people make games. They make games they want to play and make characters that they want to play as. So, men don't just go bald in their 40s and 50s. Plenty of men have receding hairlines, like, the whole time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's going to be, if it's in your mind as a creator, it's going to be something that is going to bleed into the characters you create. Alex, I'll take you again, please.
So my next choice is a hair that has been famous for centuries, and it is the character of Medusa from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And as you may or may not know, if you've heard of Medusa, she's got snakes for hair, because, you know, why not? And I just thought that was pretty cool. The representation of her in the game was pretty good. It's quite an epic boss fight. I don't know. I don't think I included her in our boss fights bonus round. I should have. It was a very good boss fight, and the music in that boss fight is also really cool. But I digress. Anyway, snakes for her is, you know, you can't think of anyone else but Medusa, so I would say it is pretty iconic as hair goes, and a pretty fun boss fight in Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
I played the first time I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't think I was really in the right mind frame for it, because I wrote an article about it that was absolutely scathing and ruthless and brutal, and part of it was this boss fight, actually, because I was pissed off that it was basically, if you weren't it doesn't matter how good you are, you should be able to go in, like with the Valkyrie in God of War. You can go in at the very start of the game, and if you're really good, you'll be able to carve your way through. But it felt like with this, it just goes, oh, you have to wait until you get to this level, and then you can do it. And that frustrated me. But I've changed my mind about Odyssey.
Yeah, that's good to know.
It is, yeah, it's yeah.
I tend to just play it like I'll go into everything over leveled anyway, so it's not so much of a problem, because I do a lot of like side quests and collectibles just to boost my XP and things, because that's how I like to play. So it takes me literally hundreds of hours, but it means that I'm usually over leveled whenever I get to the actual main story.
And Assassin's Creed.
The story around, sorry, I was going to say the story around Medusa within the mission itself is really cool, because at first you think it's like these two women are in love with each other and one of them goes missing, and it turns out that the missing woman is in fact Medusa, but she's like transformed herself into a human and then retransforms into Medusa when you come across her as a boss fight. And so there was this element of like a human relationship within it as well, which I thought was quite an interesting take. My knowledge of Greek mythology is unfortunately failing me, so I can't tell you if that's actually part of the myth or not. But I'm sure there's probably something similar. But it was good to see that included in there.
I do like them like bringing in the mythological element into the games.
Yeah,
That is cool. Okay, hairstyle number 4 or 5. I think it's 5.
Five. Yeah,
Number 2 from Gem.
I can only count to 3. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with, since we were talking about men's hair, I'm going to go with Dorian from Dragon Age Inquisition because of his moustache, which I had like I have uploaded it. But it's there he is. Now I don't think it's too bad on this image, but the other, I was playing a couple of nights ago and I was having a conversation with him and it was really close up and I was admiring how realistic his skin looked. But I was really, really frustrated by the fact that his moustache looked like it was painted on. And I just felt like they put all this effort into doing the skin and getting their eyes right and everything. And then they completely failed on his moustache, which is, an impressive piece of facial hair, I think. But yeah, so I wanted to include him as a sort of, I don't know, maybe how not to do how to do it and how not to do it.
I mean, it might just be painted on anyway. You don't know.
Well, I did wonder that. I did wonder, like, is it intentionally like that? Because he strikes me as the sort of person who may well paint his moustache on. You know, he's kind of got that kind of personality. But I don't know, and I did spend quite a lot of time like looking at him and checking different angles. So yes, I had to share it today for facial hair. But I think facial hair is an interesting one anyway. And I as I normally play female characters, I don't often get into the whole thing about, you know, like when you're choosing your character and you're choosing hair and all of that. I don't know how often men get a lot of facial choices in the male characters. So I say men get, you know, women can play male characters too. It's all about inclusivity here. So yeah, but yeah. So Dorian's moustache.
He's got that sort of. I don't know if this is only because I was watching a lot of Captain Jack Harkness videos yesterday. He's got that kind of, you know how Captain Jack is just, I'm Captain Jack. Hi. Yeah. He's got that same sort of like walk into any room and just look around and go, everyone's looking at me. I'm looking good.
He has got an amazing jawline as well. I mean, actually, the rest of his face doesn't quite work for me, but his jawline is like archetypal, attractive male. Jawline.
It's just like Agent 47. Just you could cut diamonds on his cheekbones.
It could be painful.
He would be fine. Okay, now for my second one, I'm going to choose in the vein which I believe is probably a predecessor to Aloy. Is a character called Nariko from a game called Heavenly Sword, which was on PS3, I think about 10 years ago now, and was a absolute stunning masterpiece. Absolutely, it should have been impossible to run on the PS3. I can't imagine how they managed to get this to work on anything other than a next generation console. That long red hair is extraordinary. The detail of everything, the way it moves, how it just flows around and makes her so distinctive and makes her stand out everywhere. Quite apart from the game itself being absolutely extraordinary in multiple ways. There's also fantastic performance from the actress called Anna Torv. She was in Fringe. Have you seen Fringe?
Yeah, I have not. No.
Oh, good. Brilliant. Yeah, definitely check it out.
Really high quality sci-fi TV show, and she played her. And there is what I had that exact same thing as you said earlier, Jem, about looking at these characters you remember and you go, oh my God, is that what she was wearing? And it's just this. He's got this massive sword and this skimpy, lacy thing on, and just
Very
like, oh,
practical.
okay, yeah, whatever. Lots of range of movement. That must be it. Okay, right. Moving on to the final three. Alex, what would be your next one?
Okay, so my next one will not be a surprise to anyone that's watched any of our previous podcasts, and it is, of course, classic Lara Croft, because she was the inspiration for my hairstyle. Pretty much every day of primary school, I would have it in that type of plait, and it would go right from the top of my head right down to the middle of my back when it was at its longest. But yeah, the plait hairstyle was very much inspired by Lara Croft, and I think it was one of the first games which included hair longer than like the sort of shoulder length as you would have in a male protagonist, say, because they were able to actually render it in polygon form, and I think it was I think in the original Tomb Raider it was just a sort of bun, and then in Tomb Raider 2 they got the technology to be able to have the sort of wavy plait that blew in the wind behind her, and it was one of my first best video game memories was just seeing her hair blown around in the wind, which is at the time probably pretty high tech stuff. So yeah, that's why it makes the final entry for my top hairstyles in games.
I like just back to what I was saying about 47 and the
Yeah.
minimalism, and thinking back to like when you make a character like Lara Croft or Crash Bandicoot, you've got such little available resources in the game itself. You can't make a like a Kratos. You can't make it like this incredible detail. You've got a tiny amount of room to make something really stand out. And so to make something like Lara Croft or Crash Bandicoot is even more of an achievement when when you can only make them so detailed. Jen, what's your next one?
Okay, so I'm kind of doing two. I'm doing like one which is like how not to do it. The other one is how to do it. So I'm gonna talk about Rachel Foley from Resident Evil something or other. Can't remember which one she's from. Anyway, I just discovered this character because I haven't played this one, and I was I was a little bit horrified by the all of the pictures that I saw of her, because in most of them I haven't shared that image, but most of them she's wearing her jumpsuit is kind of opened halfway across her chest, so you just get lots of cleavage and it goes right down to her belly button, which I think is a mod. I don't think that was how it was originally designed in the game, because it just seems crazy to me. And Resident Evil isn't usually so sexualized, so I think that's just a mod. But the fact that was all I could find was pictures of her in that kind of says it doesn't really matter whether it was a mod or not. That's how she is immortalized now. But she's got this ridiculous hair that comes across her face, and like she can't see anything. It's no wonder that she ends up fighting for the dark side and whatever happens to her, because she turns into a big bad scary monster in the end. So I mean, it's crazy. And I think she was a good example for me of all of the women who have hair that might look amazing, like the red hair you just showed, Matt. That did look awesome. It completely impractical if you're fighting, unless it actually is part of your outfit, like Bayonetta, or if it's like a weapon or something. Even then, I just think it's like, as somebody with longer hair, it just mostly gets in the way. And if I'm doing anything that needs my full attention, my hair goes up and out my face, because that's how it is. So I bring you how I think you should do it, which is Cassandra from Dragon Age, and she has really closely cropped hair. She means business. It's always about what she knows how to fight. She knows what she needs to do, and she's just going to get down to it. And she hasn't got time to worry about blow drying her hair, styling it. Doesn't even have time to put it up in a ponytail. It's just ruffles it, and she's done. And I just think, it's a practical haircut for the role that she plays, and I think it's quite nice to see a character. I like Cassandra anyway. I mean, she's a little bit straight-laced for me, but she is just such a cool character, and I think she just wears this hairstyle really well. She's still very feminine, but she can also kick ass in it. So yeah, there you go. That's my third one.
I really like Cassandra. Because she hates you at the start. She thinks you're a piece of shit who just killed everyone. But then she softens, but in that way you can tell that she's very like you say, she's got that. It doesn't take anything away from her femininity. She's still clearly feminine. She doesn't try and divorce that from herself. She has got that underneath this leadership, brusque demeanor. And I love when someone like that has their caring normal side exposed, because it's with is it Varric's, one of Varric's mates, or Varric, who writes this terrible smutty love stories. Remember that?
Yeah.
And she loves it, and Varric just rips into her for loving these smutty stories.
I feel like I'm missing out quite a lot at the moment, because my party is Cassandra, Solas, and Cole, and there's a really good relationship between Solas and Cole, but my husband played with Cassandra and Varric in the party, and he said they had some amazing conversations, and obviously I'm missing out on all of those because I'm not running with them, so I do feel a little bit like I'm missing out on their relationship, because I think they do have quite a good, but yeah,
that's the beauty of multiple playthroughs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, last one, number 9. Me is from Senua's Sacrifice, the titular character, Senua. Because one, I remember thinking it looked cool, and then looking at it in detail, it's actually even better than I thought it was. Because you're looking close, it's braided, which is cool on its own. She has got this, you can see the straps around the back. She's got this sort of headband to keep anything out of her eyes. And then braided into the long ponytail, he's got this blue and white bits of jewelry and strapping. And it's just very thick and dark, and just really matches with everything else of the aesthetic in the game. Just tight and tense, and just looking at how, thinking of what I remember it, and then looking at it again now, it just looks really cool. Jem, have you carried on playing that game?
I haven't picked it up for a while, actually. I got sidetracked, but I really do need to go back. I think the problem was that I realized that if you die, well, I read somewhere that if you die too many times, then you have to start again, and that's just made me super scared. But I don't know if that's actually the case, because then I went online and people were saying, well, maybe I never had to start again. So I just got really scared because I don't have the time to put it to start again. But yeah, no, I do. And I'm just noticing, looking at her outfit here, actually, that she's got, it's a sort of what's the word, like tartany style on the bodice, which is quite modern, because obviously that I think it's about a modern day person going into this kind of world. So I think that's quite an interesting thing. Or is
it's 100% picked in the, I think, the 700s.
Oh.
Yeah, Is she from then? You know, from
Yeah.
those times. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a contemporary story. It's not
Yeah.
anyone having gone back.
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting that she's got that kind of patterning on there, and her hair is amazing. Has there been any? Was there any debate about cultural appropriation because she's got dreads? I know that's a whole nother episode, but I haven't heard anything. But I just wondered whether anyone has commented on that.
Well, I expect it's more in the vein of the Vikings style of braiding.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Very cool. Very cool.
Cool. That is our top 9 hairstyles in games. Thank you for watching or listening. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and subscribe on Twitch. And wherever you happen to be listening, you can follow us on there. And please do drop a comment on Apple Podcasts if you can, and give us a rating, because that helps more people find us. And that's what we want, more eyes and ears talking about feminism in gaming. So until next time, every Thursday at 7 p.m, we will see you then. Bye.